Menju, the face-to-face transmission by Eihei Dogen from Shobogenzo, the treasury of the true Dharma Eye. Then Shakyamuni Buddha, in the order on Vulture Peak in the Western country, India, among an assembly of millions, picked up an Udambara flower and winked. At that time, the face of the Venerable Mahakasyapa broke into a smile. Shakyamuni Buddha said, "I possess the right Dharma Eye treasury and the fine mind of Nirvana. I transmit them to Mahakasyapa." This is the truth of the Buddha's and the Patriarch's face-to-face transmission of the right Dharma Eye treasury, authentically transmitted by the 7 Buddhas. It reaches the Venerable Mahakasyapa. Through 28 transmissions from the Venerable Mahakasyapa, it reaches the Venerable Bodhidharma. The Venerable Bodhidharma personally descends into China and gives the face-to-face transmission to Great Master Shoshu Taiso Fukaku, the Venerable Eka. Through 5 transmissions, it reaches Great Master Daikan Eno of Sokezan Mountain. Through 17 transmissions, it reaches my late master, the Eternal Buddha Tendo of Daibyaku Myozan Mountain, in the district of Keiganfu in the Great Kingdom of Song. On the first day of the 5th lunar month, in the first year of the Great Song era of Hogyo, Dogen first burns incense and does prostrations on the elevated stage Myo Kodai to the late Master Tendo, the Eternal Buddha, and the late Master, the Eternal Buddha, first looks at Dogen, then indicating the face-to-face transmission and bestowing it upon Dogen, he says, "The gate of Dharma, transmitted face-to-face by the Buddhas and the Patriarchs, has been realized. This is just the picking up of a flower on Vulture Peak. It is the attainment of the marrow on Suzan Mountain. It is the transmission of the robe on Obai Mountain, and the face-to-face transmission on Tozan Mountain. This is the face-to-face transmission of the eye treasury of the Buddhist Patriarchs. It is present only in our house. Others have never experienced it, even in a dream." This truth of the face-to-face transmission, because it was actually transmitted face-to-face to Shakyamuni Buddha in the order of Kasyapa Buddha, and because it has been maintained, is the face of the Buddhist Patriarch. Without the face-to-face transmission from the Buddha's face, we are not Buddhas. Shakyamuni Buddha's direct meeting with the Venerable Mahakasyapa is the immediate transmission. Even Ananda and Rahula cannot match the intimacy of the transmission to Mahakasyapa. Even the great Bodhisattvas cannot match the intimacy of the transmission to Mahakasyapa. They cannot sit in the seat of the Venerable Mahakasyapa. The world-honored one saw sharing his seat and sharing his robe with Mahakasyapa as his lifetime of Buddha behavior. The Venerable Mahakasyapa, through face transmission, mind transmission, body transmission, and eye transmission, has intimately received the face-to-face transmission of the world-honored one. He has served offerings to, venerated, made prostrations to, and served homage to the Buddha Shakyamuni. In thus pulverizing his bones and shattering his body, he has been through an unknown 1,000 myriad changes. His own countenance is beyond face and eyes. He has received the face-to-face transmission of the countenance of the Tathagata. Shakyamuni Buddha really looks at the Venerable Mahakasyapa. The Venerable Mahakasyapa looks directly at the Venerable Ananda. The Venerable Ananda prostrates himself directly before the Buddha's face of the Venerable Mahakasyapa. This is the face-to-face transmission. The Venerable Ananda abides in and maintains this face-to-face transmission, and through contact with Sanavasa, he transmits it face-to-face. The Venerable Sanavasa directly serves the Venerable Ananda, during which time the face alone, together with the face, transmits and receives the face-to-face transmission. In this way, the true ancestral masters of successive generations have each passed on the face-to-face transmission through the disciple regarding the master, and the master seeing the disciple. If even one ancestor, one master, or one disciple failed to give or to receive the face-to-face transmission, they would not be the Buddha and the patriarchs. For example, in causing a stream of faith to develop by channeling water, or in keeping a light burning which makes brightness eternal, even in kotis of 1,000 myriad cases, root and branch are one. At the same time, the transmission is fleeting moments of cheeping and pecking. This being so, we have amassed an age of days and nights looking directly at Shakyamuni Buddha, and have amassed a generation of days and nights being illuminated by the presence of the Buddha's face. We do not know how countlessly many times this has continued back and forth. We should quietly consider it and be glad. It is the Buddha's eyes and the Buddha's countenance which have done prostrations to the Buddha face of Shakyamuni Buddha, which have moved the Buddha eyes of Shakyamuni Buddha into our own eyes, and which have moved our own eyes into the Buddha's eyes. That which has transmitted this state face to face until the present, without missing a single generation, is this face-to-face transmission. The present several tens of generations of rightful successors are individual instances of the Buddha's face, and they receive the face-to-face transmission from the original Buddha's face. To make a prostration to this traditional face-to-face transmission is just to make a prostration to the 7 Buddhas and to Shakyamuni Buddha. It is to make a prostration and to serve offerings to the 28 Buddhist patriarchs from the Venerable Mahakasyapa. The features and eyes of the Buddhist patriarchs are like this. To meet these Buddhist patriarchs is to meet Shakyamuni Buddha and the rest of the 7 Buddhas. It is the very moment in which Buddhist patriarchs intimately bestow the face-to-face transmission of themselves, and it is Buddhas of the face-to-face transmission giving the face-to-face transmission to Buddhas of the face-to-face transmission. Using the complicated, they give the face-to-face transmission to the complicated, without any interruption at all. Opening their eyes, they give the eye-to-eye transmission and receive the eye-to-eye transmission through the eyes. Showing their faces, they give the face-to-face transmission and receive the face-to-face transmission through the face. The face-to-face transmission is received and given at the place of the face. Utilizing the mind, they give the mind-to-mind transmission and receive the mind-to-mind transmission through the mind. Realizing the body, they give the body-to-body transmission of the body. Other nations in other directions also see this transmission as their original ancestor. But east of China, the giving and receiving of the face-to-face transmission is present only in this house of the Buddha's right tradition. We have clearly received the transmission of the right eye with which to see the Tathagata. When we do prostrations to the face of Shakyamuni Buddha, the 51 patriarchs and the founding 7 Buddhas are neither aligned side by side nor aligned in succession. Rather, their face-to-face transmissions are all present in the same moment. One who never in a lifetime meets a master is not a disciple, and one who never meets a disciple is not a master. When master and disciple have definitely seen each other, have been seen by each other, have given the face-to-face transmission, and have succeeded to the Dharma, that is the realization of the truth which resides in the patriarch's face-to-face transmission. Thus, master and disciple have directly taken on the brightness of the Tathagata's face. In some, even after thousands of years, or myriad years, or hundreds of kalpas, or kotis of kalpas, this face-to-face transmission is the appearance of the face of, and the realization of the transmission from, Shakyamuni Buddha. When this state of the Buddhist patriarch has been realized, it is the realization of the images of the world-honored one, Mahakasyapa, the 51 patriarchs, and the 7 founders. It is the realization of their brightness, the realization of their body, the realization of their mind, the appearance of the tips of their toes, and the appearance of the ends of their noses. Even before a word is comprehended, and even before understanding of half a word is transcended, when the master has seen the back of a disciple's head, and the disciple has regarded the master through the crown of the head, that is the authentic face-to-face transmission. Revere a face-to-face transmission like this. Merely to appear to be manifesting a trace of the mind in the field of the mind is not always a great and valuable way of life. But the performance of the face-to-face transmission in the changing of the face, and the presence of the face-to-face transmission in the turning of the head, may be face skin 3 inches thick, or face skin 10 feet thin, and just this skin of the face may be the great round mirror of the Buddhas. Because the great round mirror is seen as the skin of the face, inside and outside have no flaws or blurs, and great round mirrors have passed on the face-to-face transmission to great round mirrors. Those who have received the authentic transmission of the right Dharma, that has met personally with Shakyamuni Buddha, are even more familiar to us than Shakyamuni Buddha, and they cause to be visible from the corner of the eye Shakyamuni Buddhas who are 3 and 3 before and behind. Therefore, those who revere Shakyamuni Buddha and long for Shakyamuni Buddha should revere and should honor this authentic tradition of the face-to-face transmission. We should do venerative prostrations to that which is hard to encounter and hard to meet. That is just to do prostrations to the Tathagata, and to be given the face-to-face transmission by the Tathagata. Those who directly meet the face-to-face transmission of the Tathagata as a conspicuous state which is authentically transmitted and learned in practice, whether they are the self that we use to see as ourselves, or whether they are others, should be cherished and protected. In the house of Buddha, there is an authentic tradition that those who do prostrations before the 8 stupas are liberated from hindrances of wrongdoing and are able to feel the effect of the truth. This stupa prostration concretely establishes the state of Shakyamuni Buddha's realization of the truth at the place of his birth, at the place of his turning the Dharma wheel, at the place of his realization of the truth, and at the place of his nirvana. It realized the great earth, and realized the great space which have remained by the city of Kanyakubja, and remained in Amrapa Livana wood. Through prostration to that which is realized as a stupa by sounds, smells, tastes, sensations, substances, sights, and other objects, the prostrator really feels the effect of practice of the truth. Prostration to these 8 stupas is a discipline practiced throughout the Western country, India. Lay people and monks, celestial throngs, and human multitudes vie to prostrate themselves and to serve offerings to the stupas. This is just the scroll of a sutra. Buddhist sutras are like this. There again, to practice the 37 methods, and thereby to accomplish the Buddhist effect in each instant of living, is to propagate along the omnipresent roots of the ancients the traces of the eternal practice and discipline of Shakyamuni Buddha, because he has made these traces clear for eternity. We can realize the truth. Remember, those 8 towers of many stories have seen innumerable renewals of frosts and flowers, and wind and rain have often tried to broach them. But they have left their trace in space, and left their trace in matter. The freedom with which they bestow their virtue upon people of the present has not diminished. And when we apply ourselves in the present to practicing these roots, powers, truths, and paths, although there are disturbances, and there is the obstacle of delusion, when we practice and experience the 37 methods, their power is still fresh. Such is the virtue of Shakyamuni Buddha. Yet the present face-to-face transmission is beyond comparison with those stupas and methods. The 37 auxiliary Bodhi methods have this face of the Buddha and the Buddha mind, the Buddha body, the Buddha's truth, the Buddha's brightness, the Buddha's tongue, and so on, as their original root. The accumulated virtues of the 8 stupas, likewise, have the Buddha's face, and so on, as their original foundation. Now, as students of the Buddha Dharma, if we are to walk the vigorous road of penetration and liberation, we should, in the peace and quiet of day and night, carefully consider and wholeheartedly rejoice that our country is superior to other countries, and our truth alone is supreme. In other regions, the people who do not equal us are many. The reason our country and our truth are supreme and honoured alone is that although the multitudes assembled on Vulture Peak instructed others throughout the 10 directions, the rightful successor at Shaolin Temple was truly the educator of China, and the descendants of Soke have passed on his face-to-face transmission to the present. This is an excellent time for the Buddha Dharma to enter afresh into the mud and into the water. If we do not experience the effect at this time, when will we experience the effect? If we do not cut delusion at this time, when will we cut delusion? If we do not become Buddha at this time, when will we become Buddha? If we are not a sitting Buddha at this time, When will we be an acting Buddha? Consideration of these questions should be meticulous. When Shakyamuni Buddha graciously gives the face-to-face transmission to the Venerable Mahakasyapa, he says, "I possess the right Dharma eye treasury, and I transmit it to Mahakasyapa." At the order on Suzan Mountain, the Venerable Bodhidharma actually addresses the second patriarch with the words, "You have got my marrow." Clearly, that which gives the face-to-face transmission of the right Dharma eye treasury, and that which becomes the face-to-face transmission of "You have got my marrow," is nothing other than this face-to-face transmission itself. At this very moment, when you see through and get free from your habitual bones and marrow, the face-to-face transmission of the Buddhist patriarchs is there. Even the face-to-face transmission of the great state of realization and the face-to-face transmission of the mind seal are a singular state at a definite place. Although they are not the transmission of everything, we never enter into investigation of insufficiency of realization. In conclusion, the great truth of the Buddhist patriarchs is nothing other than a face giving and a face receiving, and the reception of a face and the giving of a face, beyond which there is nothing surplus and nothing lacking. We should rejoice in, delight in, believe in, and serve whatever has had the opportunity to meet this face-to-face transmission, even if it is our own features. Dogen, on the first day of the 5th lunar month in the first year of the great Sung era of Hogyo, prostrated myself to my late Master Tendo, the Eternal Buddha, and received his face-to-face transmission for the first time. I was then allowed some access to his inner sanctum. Barely free of body and mind, yet being able to maintain and rely upon the face-to-face transmission, I came back to Japan. Preached to the assembly at Kippo Temple in the Yoshida district of Etsu-u on the 20th day of the 10th lunar month in the first year of Kangen. Among those people who have never experienced and never learned in practice the truth that the face-to-face transmission of the Buddha's truth is like this, there was, during the Keiyu era, in the reign of the great Sung Emperor Jinso, a certain Zen master Shoko of Senpukuji Temple. In formal preaching in the Dharma Hall, he says, "Great Master Unmon Kyoshin is present just now. Do you all see him or not? If you are able to see him, then you are in the same state as this mountain monk. Do you see him? Do you see him? You should realize this matter directly, then you will have attainment for the first time, and it will be impossible for you to delude yourselves. Now, consider the example of Obaku in olden times. On hearing Master Hyakujo quote the story of Great Master Baso letting out a yell, he chanced to have a great reflection. Hyakujo asked him, "Disciple, would you not like to succeed the Great Master Baso?" Obaku said, "Although I know of the Great Master, in short, I have not met the Great Master. If I were to succeed the Great Master, I am afraid that I would forfeit my own children and grandchildren." Members of this assembly, at that time it was not even 5 years since the passing of the Great Master Baso. But Obaku himself confessed to not meeting. We should know that Obaku's viewpoint was not mature. In short, he only had one eye. This mountain monk is not like that. I am able to know Great Master Unmon. I am able to meet Great Master Unmon, and I am quite able to succeed Great Master Unmon. Yet given that it is already more than 100 years since Unmon entered Nirvana, how can I today expound the principle of our intimate meeting? Do you understand it? People of penetration and men of attainment are able to certify it, but in the minds of the squinting and the inferior doubts and condemnation arise. Those who have been able to meet this state do not discuss it. Those who have not met it yet should look just now. You have been standing for a long time without questions. Thank you. Now, Shoko, even if we permit that you know Great Master Unmon, and that you see Great Master Unmon, does Great Master Unmon personally see you or not? If Great Master Unmon does not see you, it might be impossible for you to succeed Great Master Unmon. Because Great Master Unmon has never sanctioned you, not even your claim that Great Master Unmon sees me, it is evident that you and Great Master Unmon have never met each other. Among the 7 Buddhas and all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future, is there any Buddhist patriarch who has succeeded to the Dharma without meeting with another as master and disciple? You must never call Obaku immature in his viewpoint. How could you fathom Obaku's actions? How could you fathom Obaku's words? Obaku is an eternal Buddha. He is at the limit of investigation of the succession of the Dharma. You have never heard, seen, or learned in practice, even in a dream, the truth of the succession of the Dharma. Obaku has received the Dharma from his master, and has maintained and relied upon the state of the patriarch. Obaku meets with his master and sees his master. You do not see a master, do not know a patriarch, do not know yourself, and do not see yourself at all, and there is no master who sees you. You have never experienced the opening of a master's eyes. In truth, it is you whose viewpoint is not mature, and whose succession to the Dharma is never mature. Do you know, or do you not know, that Great Master Unmon is a Dharma descendant of Obaku? How could you fathom the expressions of Hyakujo and Obaku? You cannot even fathom the expressions of Great Master Unmon. People who have the power of learning in practice take up the expressions of Hyakujo and Obaku, and people who have the directly accessible and settled state can fathom these expressions. You, being without learning in practice and without the settled state, cannot know them and cannot fathom them. The words that Obaku does not receive the Dharma from the Great Master Baso, even though it is not even 5 years since the passing of the Great Master Baso, are truly not even worth laughing at. A person who deserves to succeed to the Dharma will be able to succeed to the Dharma even after countless kalpas. A person who does not deserve to succeed to the Dharma can never succeed to the Dharma, even if the elapsed time is only half a day or a minute. You are an utterly witless and stupid man who has never seen the face of the sun and the face of the moon in the Buddha's state of truth. You talk of succeeding to Unmon, even though it is already more than 100 years since Great Master Unmon entered Nirvana. Is it by virtue of some momentous ability that you can succeed to Unmon? You are less reliable than a 3-year-old child. People hoping to receive the Dharma from Unmon in another 1,000 years will probably have 10 times your ability. Now, I shall rescue you, so let us study for a while the story of Hyakujo and Obaku. Hyakujo's words, "Disciple, would you not like to succeed the Great Master Baso?" never say, "Go ahead and receive the Dharma from Great Master Baso." Studying for a while the story of a lion mustering all its strength and speed, and studying the story of a turtle trying to climb a tree upside down, you should investigate the vigorous road of stepping forward and stepping back. In succession of the Dharma, the power of learning in practice like this exists. Obaku's words, "I am afraid that I would forfeit my own children and grandchildren," are utterly beyond your comprehension. Do you know who is expressed in the words "my own"? and who the people described as children and grandchildren are. You should painstakingly study Obaku's words in practice. The words have been realized unconcealedly and conspicuously. Nevertheless, a certain Zen master, Bukoku Ihaku, being ignorant of the Buddhist patriarch's succession of the Dharma, has listed Shoko among Unmon's Dharma successors. This may be a mistake. Students of later ages must not unknowingly think that learning in practice might be present in Shoko. If it is possible for the likes of you, Shoko, to receive the Dharma by relying on written words, then do people who are enlightened by reading written sutras all receive the Dharma from Shakyamuni Buddha himself. That is never so. Enlightenment based on written sutras always requires the seal of approval of a true teacher. Shoko, you have not even read the record of Unmon's words as thoroughly as you say. Only people who have penetrated Unmon's words have received the Dharma from Unmon. You have never seen Unmon with your own eyes. You have never seen yourself with your own eyes. You have never seen Unmon with Unmon's eyes. And you have never seen yourself with Unmon's eyes. There are many such things that you have failed to experience. You should buy yourself new straw sandals again and again to search for a true teacher and receive the Dharma. You must not speak of succeeding Great Master Unmon. If you speak like that, you will just be a species of non-Buddhist. Even if Hyakujo himself were to speak as you have, it would be a great mistake.